So I handed over session to Mr. Ahsan to explain how Sabi evolved from a professional to an investor level. Sabi भाई thank you very much. मैं आपको कम्युनिटी हेल्प के प्लेटफॉर्म पर इस सेशन में वेलकम करता हूँ. हमारे लिए बहुत एजाज़ की बात है कि हम समझते हैं कि आप जैसे लोगों की जो इनसाइट है अबाउट हिज लाइफ, अबाउट बिजनेस एंड बीइंग अ वेरी गुड बेनिफिटिंग सिटीज़न, उसके ऊपर हम आपका इनसाइट इस प्रोग्राम में सुनना चाहेंगे. और जो आपने पहले बताया कि प्रिलिमिनरी डिस्कशन के अंदर जब हम आपसे ये सारे डिज़ाइन कर रहे थे इंटरव्यू में कि व्हाट डू यू मीन बाय कैन डू एटीट्यूड.
जी शुक्रिया बहुत बहुत अलीम भाई. सो बेसिकली you know I have been working for more than 45 years, almost 50 years now, and I don't think I remember myself working less than 80 hours a week ever.
Oh.
And in the years I was a farmer, I was working 120, 130 and even 140 hours a week steady. So you know, even 120 hours a week is like 3 full-time jobs.
Yeah.
So with the 45 years of experience with 80 plus hours a week, it's like over 100 years of work established. So basically I have learned this through doing. It's a combination of work, talking to people and doing.
Excellent.
Yes, the main thing about education is that you use your education, then you don't make mistakes.
Yeah.
It's a faster way and less expensive way.
So you are
because
building something on the experience done by other people.
Yes, I mean that's what education is all about.
Yeah.
Education doesn't just have to be formal.
Yeah.
It can be informal as well. So, you know, we're from Pakistan, you and myself, and not too long ago we had multi-generational families where the grandfather, the father and the grandchildren, they all lived in the same house. The key thing with that system, as opposed to what we call the nuclear family where it's just father, mother and children, was that there were lots of opportunities to learn from your aunts, uncles and grandparents. Today,
so this is another benefit to live in a joint family.
Absolutely, it's a huge benefit.
So you can find a mentor in your own family.
Yes, so the thing is that today when husband and wife get married and they move out and they really have no experience of running a household, life is very difficult for them. Then they have a child, they don't know anything. In that multi-family thing, you know, the aunts, the sisters, you know, the grandmother, everybody takes care of the child. The child has lots of opportunities. Like over here today, I read a report recently that childcare per year costs more than the cost of a university education. So that's a huge expense, you know, that you're paying.
But in joint family, it's all been shared with
It's shared. It's not.
Also give opportunity to kid to learn from different mentors.
Exactly. Now the funny thing is that is not something to do with Pakistanis versus that. Because I have owned farms since 1986, which is what, 33 years or so now. You see, because a farmer, he needs to be a carpenter. He needs to be a mechanic. He has to service all of his equipment. He has to be a veterinarian. He has to be a gynecologist. He has to be a midwife. He has to be a businessman. He has to plant all of his crops, right? He has to do all of those things. He has to manage his finances. It's very, very hard work. But really what I was saying is that the farm families, they are exactly the same. So the children, they start learning with the grandfather when they are literally 6 and 7 years of age.
Yeah.
By the time they're 10, light work, but they are working full time, like they have chores, responsibilities to do. So by the time they're 20, they already have 10 years of experience.
Great.
They know how to do it, how not to do it. Yeah. They know all the things that don't work, and they're not going to try to do them, right? And they get their day's work done. Like a farmer knows that I can't leave this thing for tomorrow. I have to do it today. And the importance of the time and planning ahead.
Yeah.
See, in Canada, you have a very short growing season.
Yeah.
If you don't seed in time, you're not going to harvest in time.
Exactly.
And what happens is in October, the rains start.
Yeah.
And if you haven't harvested, maybe the crop is going to rot in the field.
Yeah, exactly.
So you have to service your equipment in the fall, have it ready. So soon as the weather allows, the farmer is out there, in the field working.
Yeah.
Then he can take off his crop in August and September. He doesn't have to worry about the October rains. But all of these things, but the most important thing I can tell you about farming is that Quran Sharif, it is the ultimate in wisdom. It has everything that you need. We read it like parrots. We don't necessarily understand it.
Exactly.
Even if we understand the Arabic, we don't know what it means. Right? Whereas when you're a farmer, and your whole life and your livelihood and everything is dependent on that soil, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes it so clearly in so many places in the Quran, your attitude, it changes as to what nature is. You understand those nature passages because your life and your livelihood is tied to that. And you learn that you can't fight nature. And you understand that everything that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has written from before science came around, and it's been in practice certainly for many, many thousands of years, it is the truth, from before people knew how to write and things like that. So there is so much wisdom, in the Quran. And there's a very common saying that's there, in English, that the person who believes they can do it and the person who believes they can't do it, they're both right. Meaning, if you think you can't do it, you're not doing it. Whereas if you think you can do it, you're doing it. So when you grow up in this farm family and your grandfather has taught you how to do this, and at 20 you have 10 years experience doing it, is there such a thing as I can't do it? That 10-year-old kid, I have seen them.
Yes.
They work so flawlessly and effectively.
So it helps them to build a can-do attitude.
Absolutely, And even the animals, like you mentioned there, I had 225 head of beef cattle. So there was 100 cows, a few bulls, and their calves. Now, a mother is a mother. It doesn't matter whether you're talking about a human, you're talking about a cat, a dog, or a cow. Now, I was raising beef cattle. The average beef cow, she weighs between 1,500 and 1,800 pounds. They can weigh 2,300 pounds too. You pick up that cow's baby, you have a surprise coming. But you know what? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, "Sakhra lana haza." We have subjected these animals to your control. They know that this man is not a threat to my baby. You pick up that baby, this 1,500 pound mother, she's all around you. She's smelling her baby, she's smelling you. She's not gonna let the baby out of her sight, but she's not gonna hit you. Only because she has that, right? Now if that was a dog or a coyote or a wolf,
Yeah,
I mean,
attitude will be altogether.
You go to YouTube and you can see cows against bears, against wolves, against lions, and you know they can fight because lions, they don't weigh 1,800 pounds.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, if you know physics and mass and momentum and velocity, they're not. And not only that, the bulls, they're 2,500 to 3,500 pounds. Their nature, they know it's their job to protect the herd.
Yeah.
If they hear a mother in distress, the whole herd comes running, including the bulls. And then they see you and say, it's only Sabi. And they start grazing.
Yeah.
They're not going to attack you.
Yeah.
You know, they come because they heard the mother, she's in distress.
Yeah.
But then they don't go after you because they have that confidence.
Yeah.
So there's lots of things, you know, that nature can teach you. And if you say, this is there in the Quran, and you learn it's the truth.
Yeah.
So many scientists have converted to Islam, right? Yeah. When they found out that, gee, we learned this through science and, you know, etc., etc.
It's already written in the Quran.
And this was written 1400 and some odd years ago.
Yeah.
They know that now this book is written by the creator of man, the creator of nature. He knows, right?
Yeah.